Everybody, it's Adrian from over here at PipeDreamHookah, and today I have a requested video for you guys. It's going to be a review on Mazaya 4 Seasons, which is basically according to the boat. We'll talk about that when we get into the review part. Actually, those could be considered spoilers. But yeah, this was requested by Rami, so I saw your comment, and I threw this together as quickly as I could because I smoked a lot of 4 Seasons, and I feel like I can talk with some amount of authority on this flavor. So we're going to do it in our normal format. We're going to look at the scent, we're going to look at the flavor, and we're going to look at the cloud content, as well as a few other varying things that go into how a shisha tobacco performs. And as usual, we're going to go ahead and start with the scent of the tobacco. Okay, so it's pretty strong, which is weird because I don't know if you can see this, but there's not very much left in here. I basically know what it smells like because I smoke it a lot, but I figured I'd do this for the sake of the video. Plus, the scent in here is still really strong, even though there's like just a few little scraps left. And the smell is pretty vague as to what exactly is in here, but what I can tell you for sure is this is going to be a citrus blend. The citrus fruit that pops out the most to me, and this might just be something that's in my head, but I think it's going to be orange, and that's because when I think of a citrus mix, orange is the first that comes to mind, and then maybe that's kind of messing with how I'm picking up the sound of this tobacco. The only way we can be for sure is when we get into the flavor profile of the tobacco, but first, let's get into the clouds. Oh, really quick, just so everyone knows, I did kind of do that weird segment at the beginning, kind of awkward, messed up the foil pattern. Oh well, sorry guys. But it is going to be an alpaca rook. This is the Fumari alpaca rook. And up top I've got 3 Narian cubes, more on those later. But yeah, that's what type of heat we're using. And if you're ever curious as to how I pack Mazaya, down in the description below I've got a video link, and it's a video on how to pack Mazaya into both Egyptian and funnel style bowls. So if you don't know how I did it, go check those videos out. And like I said, let's check out the clouds. For any of you guys who've seen any of my content on Mazaya, this is going to be no big surprise to you, but this stuff actually produces awesome clouds. I'm not sure what it is about the Mazaya tobacco, but the glycerin and molasses, make sure that the use is spot on. The tobacco leaves are not the highest quality. I've talked about that in past Mazaya reviews, but if you're looking for a super high quality tobacco leaf, this isn't going to be exactly what you want to buy. So that's just a quick note on Mazaya. But now that we know what the clouds look like, let's go ahead and move on to the flavor profile. And as usual, we're going to judge the flavor profile on both the inhale and the exhale, because I find that both the inhale and exhale differ just a little bit when it comes to the flavor profile. Let's start with the inhale. Alright, I'm trying to learn how to push L's. I'm not so good at it yet. Don't judge me. Or do. I don't really care. But the flavor profile on the inhale is kind of vague. It's really hard to judge exactly what you're getting from the flavor profile because, as well, I threw the can. Maybe I'll put an image of it since I did take pictures for B-roll stuff somewhere on this screen. But as you can see, it actually features 4 different citrus fruits, and those are going to be like the 4 pillars of citrus fruit, which are going to be lemon, lime, grapefruit, and orange. And I am noticing all of those present there, if for no other reason than I saw on the can. And this is a problem with a lot of these really complex mixes that you get, you know, the pre-mixes like 4 Seasons from Mazaya, is it pictures all these citrus fruits, but really maybe not all of them are necessarily represented in the flavor, but you pick up on them anyway because there's something going on in your head where you saw them and you're like, oh, it's got to be in there. But what I'm really picking up, when I really analyze it to the best of my ability, is a strong orange flavor with just a little bit of this like lemon lime sharpness to the throat. and I'm not really picking up any grapefruit on the inhale, which is kind of disappointing because grapefruit is one of my favorite flavor profiles. I really do like these citrus flavors. That you'll hear me talking a lot like, I don't really like candy flavors. Well, what the hell do you like? I like citrus flavors and I like dark tobacco notes. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to move on to the exhale. Almost. That was pretty close. I'm trying to get it to go around my my camera lens. I thought that would look cool. Again, I'm not very good at that. Anyway, the flavor profile on the exhale, you do start to develop a little bit of grapefruit flavor, and it's very much in the background. I wouldn't say that it's like a grapefruit flavor, more like it's a grapefruit feel. Grapefruit is definitely one of the more bitter citrus fruits, and you do pick up this slight bitter note on the exhale, and I mean it's very slight. So grapefruit is almost absent from the flavor of this tobacco, which is disappointing, but if you really pay attention, you can definitely find some on the exhale. Now as far as the other flavors, as usual, the flavor potency of this tobacco on the exhale comes down from like I would put this at like a 75. As far as like flavor density goes, or flavor intensity I guess is a better way to put it. Take it from a 75, bring it down to like a 55 is what you're going to see. But yeah, that's the flavor. It's just mostly a really nice blend of citrus fruits, mostly orange, a little bit of lemon lime, mostly is the throat hit, and then the grapefruit doesn't make itself apparent until the exhale. At least that's what I'm picking out from this flavor. Now before I wrap it up and give this some type of a rating for you guys on a 7 scale, which is the scale we use over here at PipeDreamHookah, to avoid giving it really arbitrary ratings of 7 out of 10, which I found I had a habit of doing when I was like pretty neutral on tobacco, and I feel like a 7 out of 10 is a really bad review score, because that's what everyone reviewing anything gives a product, and they're like, I don't want to bash it, but it's not that good, so we're avoiding that. We also don't use 0.5, so it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. But before that, let's talk about how long Mazaya burns for, and it's not very long. You're looking at between 50 minutes to maybe an hour and 5 before the flavor completely dies out and you're just blowing smoke. And you can blow smoke for the entire round of cubes. You could even go another round of cubes if you wanted to, but it's going to start to taste real ashy around the hour and a half mark. And then like I said, the flavor intensity isn't the highest. I had like 75% out of 100. If you think of 100 as like Starbuzz vintage, they have really juicy, oversaturated flavors. Sometimes they're a little bit much. So if you ever had vintage, that's something to compare it to. But yeah, the flavor intensity isn't the highest, although it is pleasant. And I don't really like my flavor intensity on my citrus smokes to be super high anyway. Oh, and Mazaya takes heat really well for some reason. I don't know what the deal is, because the tobacco isn't the greatest quality. Like I said, the tobacco will lose flavor pretty quick. That is more to do with the glycerin molasses content. But you can tell when you smoke a tobacco, kind of the taste that you get out of the tobacco, you can kind of pick up some of the quality. It's something that you just get after smoking like 5 bowls a day for the last 2 years. And then when you look at the tobacco, you can tell like they wash it, they overwash it like alfalfa. So if it weren't for the fact that they do dye Mazaya, it would be like a translucent leaf. That's all besides the point. Let's get into rating it. And if I had to give this Mazaya 4 Seasons a rating out of 7, I would give it a solid 5 out of 7. Now obviously it's not going to dip up into the 6 or the 7 out of 7 spot, because the performance isn't that great, although it can take heat, and the flavor's pretty good. The flavor doesn't last that long, and to be honest, the flavor intensity might not be enough for some people. And it's obviously not going to dip below a 5 out of 7, because the flavor itself is actually outstanding, and it performs as well as any other Mazaya flavor, and I don't think there's anything wrong with picking up tobacco that's only going to burn for an hour if you only smoke for like an hour. Plus Mazaya is a budget brand. The most I think you're going to spend on a 250 of Mazaya is $15, and that's if you're very unlucky. I can get it by me local for like $12 at 250, so that's a pretty good price. Not everyone has that option though, so I don't know why I'm saying that here. Oh, before we wrap this video up, I'm gonna start doing this a little bit more, because there's some people hit me up in the DMs like, hey, I see that shirt and I want that shirt. So just so you guys know, I got shirts. It's the only merch I got available right now. Well, I guess I have hoodies too, but there's some color combinations available. Some people have picked them up. They like them a lot. They're pretty cozy. They're 20 bucks. Link in the description if you're interested in picking that up. And if you're not, I don't buy everyone's merch either. That shit's expensive. I don't blame you. That said, I think that's going to wrap it up for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, happy smoking.